Paul's journey to Rome, as recorded in Acts 27 and 28, was anything but smooth. He was a prisoner, on his way to stand trial before Caesar in Italy, but Paul knew that his journey wasn't just about reaching Rome. It was about fulfilling God's plan. Even in chains, Paul was more than a prisoner. He was a leader, a man on a mission, destined to stand before Caesar and testify of God's power. Paul knew this was his divine purpose, and nothing, not even a storm, was going to stand in his way.
Now, think about the situation Paul was in. A violent storm hit their ship, a storm so fierce that seasoned sailors lost hope. But not Paul. While everyone else panicked, he stood firm. Why? Because his faith wasn't shaken. Paul had already heard from God. In the middle of the chaos, he told those around him, "Keep up your courage, for I have faith in God that it will happen just as He told me." Acts 27 verse 25. Imagine that level of faith. He wasn't just surviving the storm, he was influencing others, bringing hope where there was none.
Even though Paul was a prisoner, his influence wasn't confined by his chains. It first came from his connection with God, and then it extended to the people around him. Satan tried to stop him every step of the way. The storm, the shipwreck, the poisonous snake, these were all attempts to prevent Paul from reaching his destination. But Paul never wavered. His faith anchored him, and he became the rock for everyone on that ship. It's incredible to think that a prisoner someone society had written off was the one who brought hope and peace to those terrified sailors and soldiers.
Satan's attempts to derail Paul's journey were relentless, but Paul's eyes were fixed on God's promise. God told him, "You must stand trial before Caesar," Acts 27 verse 24, and Paul believed it. There was no doubt in his mind. Even as the ship broke apart, even when they were stranded on the island of Malta, Paul remained unshaken. His mission was clear, and nothing, not storms, not snakes, not shipwrecks, could stop him.
Paul's strength wasn't just in his physical endurance, it was in his faith. He had already won the battle in his spirit, and because of that, he was able to lead others, even while he was in chains. He stood before kings, prisoners, and common sailors, influencing them all. And this wasn't just Paul's mission, it's the mission of every believer in Jesus Christ. When Jesus gave the Great Commission, He gave it to all of us.
Jesus himself gave us our mission. Just before he returned to heaven, he commanded his disciples, and thus by extension, go and make disciples of all nations, baptizing them in the name of the Father, and of the Son, and of the Holy Spirit, and teaching them to obey everything I have commanded you. Matthew 28 verses 19 to 20. This is the mission we've all been given. Paul knew it, and that's why he was so determined to get to Rome. He had to share the good news of Jesus Christ, no matter what stood in his way.
When Jesus ascended to heaven, He left us with this incredible mission to share the love of God and the message of salvation through Jesus Christ. But He didn't leave us alone in this. Jesus is our mediator, sitting at the right hand of God, interceding for us. And He gave us the Holy Spirit to empower us, just as Paul was empowered, to carry out this great work. We are entrusted with the same mission that Paul carried with him through storms, shipwrecks, and trials.
Every one of us who believes in Jesus has this same calling. We may not be facing literal storms like Paul, but we all have challenges, and we are all called to stand firm in our faith. We are called to be a light in the darkness, to share the good news of salvation. It doesn't matter where we are, whether in a church, at work, or even in a prison like Paul, our mission is to share the love of Jesus and His offer of redemption.
Satan tried everything to stop Paul, but Paul knew the greater mission. He knew that sharing the love of God and the message of Jesus was far more important than any obstacle he faced. And that same calling applies to us today. Nothing can stop us from fulfilling our mission, not fear, not opposition, not any scheme of the enemy. Like Paul, we must stand strong in the face of adversity, knowing that God's plan for us will prevail.
Thank you so much for tuning in today and being part of this journey with us. Remember, we all have a mission, just like Paul, to share the love of Jesus and the good news of salvation with the world. Stay strong in your faith, knowing that God has empowered you for this purpose, no matter the storms you face. If you enjoyed this video and want to follow along as we continue to grow, be sure to hit that subscribe button, like the video, and leave a comment. We're all learning together, and I'm excited to see where God takes us next. Until then, stay blessed and stay on mission. Thanks again for watching, and I'll see you in the next one.